6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Y'all mighty fine people. Hey, Brock, when we go to the keys, can we have that countdown? And then I want to be shot up from the stage, all right? And like just jump and flex. Can we do that? Can you make that work out?
Yeah, that's not a problem. I actually have a couple things. I actually have one of those parachutes. I haven't told this to you yet, but you're actually gonna be coming off the water and you're
Yeah.
gonna be in a parachute and you're gonna like sail kind of with your skis on, your water skis, and you're gonna ski right onto the sand, and then you're gonna
Yeah.
go right from there. That's what I was going to do, but we could do your way too.
I'm on a barefoot, okay? I'll just barefoot. And then I'll walk up on the beach. All right,
That-
guys. Good morning. What's up, everybody? Hope y'all are doing good. Justin, I got some good stuff for you, man. Just to let you know. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good to see everybody this morning. I've got a good one. I've got a challenging one. It's going to take you being honest with yourself and all that good stuff. But before we get started with all that, let's start with our affirmations. All together. I am created on purpose for a purpose, and you are created on purpose for a purpose. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think taking action represents purpose, or waiting and hoping represents purpose? If you believe what you just said, all right, let me put it into context, and you see that there's a problem or an area in your life that needs attention, do you think taking action is more representative of purpose, or just sitting back hoping that it all works out? That's the question. That's the question. Kevin, you and I have not talked one-on-one, but I want to get a talk. I want to connect with you sometimes. Your story was truly amazing, and the focus that you literally put towards your whole revolution in your life, that's impressive, man. That's an inspiration to many. Thank you for sharing that story. And I want to, that's what we're talking about today. Hope versus action. We all have problems in our life. Raise your hand if you don't have any problems in your life. Now, I know Jesus is with us in spirit, but I don't know that he's on this Zoom call. You know what I mean? All right. But here's the deal. We got two roads that we can choose to go down when we see a problem in our life. That's taking action or just hoping everything works out for the good. Now, before we go on any further, I want you to, let's come to a place to agree on that. Maybe you've done it. I know that I've done it before. And I know a lot of people that approach life and issues that way. And when they procrastinate, it's sort of just like dressed up as patience, right? That's what it is. So this past Sunday, our pastor said something that really made me think. He was kind of using illustration. He said he and his wife saw a water leak, the beginning of a water leak in their wall, right? And eventually they just kind of ignored it because it was really, really, really vague, or, just barely, you could barely see it. But then there was a little bit of water on the floor. All right. Now, you look at that, that's a problem. And you can Go get your mop and mop that up and move on. And maybe it's not till 2 or 3 days later that you see that water again. But we busy, man. We living our life. We're doing this, we're doing that. Let me go get that mop. Get that mop. Just mop it up. Everything will be all right. We're hoping that it just goes away, but we know it's a problem. And sometimes we'll get to the point where we want to bang our head on the wall because we don't want to confront that problem. And this is crazy. So it's all the way over here on this extreme. Like one way to fix the water leak is just burn the house down. I just soon burn it down and be done with it, right? Let's just be done with it. Or we can just continue to mop it up and move on. But that problem is going to continue to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And just because you can't see all the destruction that is truly taking place, I promise you, there's some destruction that's taking place. There could be mold that's developed, all that stuff. So hoping is not a strategy. Hoping that it's just going to disappear is not a strategy. So, most of you know me and know that I had my whole divine disruption, and it just so happens that I'm in the money business, and I had money problems because I was focused on my knowledge and skill, and I didn't have alignment in my spirit and in my heart in what I was called to do. That's the essence of the wealth revolution. I'm operating from purpose now. Okay. And sometimes we don't even realize what we don't know. So we have to get checkups. Remember that fancy schmancy word that I said the other day, a facilitated introspection. That's fancy. I don't care who you are, but that really allows you to take time to do some introspection and look at all 4 parts of your nature. Look at your spirit. What's your next step? Look at your heart. What's your next step? Your mind, next step. Skill, body, next step. Everybody has a next step to become better. Everybody, even the best, can become better. And you don't take a clean car to the car wash. Deion Sanders said that. Right? So you have to start right where you are and acknowledge that I'm right here and I can go this way or I can go this way. Kevin, if I remember correctly, he was sitting on a curb or on the side of the street and he saw that Rolls Royce. And he said, I can sit here and waller around right here and be poor me, poor me, poor me. And I'm not taking anything away from people who've been in that position because I've never been in that position. I'm just admiring and really, really, really just bragging on what Kevin decided to do. He made a choice. He took action. He said, nobody's coming to save me. And if I have to make it, and if I'm going to make a difference, then I have to take action and I got to start stepping. Action doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean perfection. You have to start right where you are. A lot of us maybe have lost dreams and maybe have lost our vision that possibly could very well have been seeds planted in your heart and given to you by God. And you have let the noise and lack totally take your focus off of that. And your mindset is literally operating in a default mode, right? And not by design. We were born to be creators. That's what we were born to do. And I've said this before, but the NASA study, and I miss it. I know I say it all the time, but I usually have to have the numbers in front of me. 5 year, the NASA study, they did this study with 5-year-olds, and 98% of them little bad boys and girls scored creative geniuses. Because look, nobody was playing with Mr. Loser, man. That's Tim Story says that. When we're kids, we want to be a hero. We got big dreams. And then as time goes by, that same group of people, they scored like 17%. 98% to 17%. And when you become an adult, only 2% scored in that creative genius category. So our mind gets shifted off of abundance and dreaming and just, getting out there and getting after it to I've got to stay right here in my little space. And I hope something shakes out in my favor over here, some leftovers. And we're scared to get in the game. But here's the deal, guys. Sometimes we don't even know it. And if you know my story, that was me. I spent my entire life trying to be like my dad and had no clue that I was doing that. No clue. Why would it? Because I was focused on knowledge and what society told me. Hey, I'm going to go climb the ladders. I'm going to be successful. Climb all these ladders, and they all up against the wrong building. Every one of them ladders. And then I got a little hope. Let's throw a little hopium in there. Surely my hard work, boom, it's got to happen. And guess what? I was successful in a lot of different ventures, but I was still empty inside. So when I did fall face first, I didn't have a whole lot of purpose to get me back up. So it took the breakdown for me to have the breakthrough. It took my heart having to break for my eyes to be open. And, while it just was absolutely horrible, it's the best thing that ever happened to me. And so when I say this, I want to be like, the number one wake up caller for people to check themselves. But the truth of the matter is you have to fail sometimes on your own. You have to hit rock bottom to realize that I can't do it this way anymore. Then you start that fancy word, facilitated introspection. Because that's when I realized, man, I've been living my whole life trying to be like my dad. And guess who told me that or revealed that to me? God did. Because that's the first time that I really, really, really depended on him. And it wasn't just lip service. I was scared to death. Didn't know what my next step was going to be. And when I heard that I created you on purpose for a purpose, man alive, I just had to start being still and listening and listening and listening. And that's when everything changed. But some people don't realize there's a problem. That's why we go to checkups, right? We have checkups so we can kind of maintain and stay on top of those things. So be the person that moves. Be the person that if there is a problem, don't think you got to burn the house down to fix it. But also realize that mopping the floor up every other day is just going to make things worse. And that's not just with finances. That could be relationships. That could be in your business. That could be many different things. But I would challenge you. Recognize it, focus on it, capture it, and let's see how you can make it better. But you have to start where you are and don't expect. All right. It goes back to what I was saying. You don't take a clean car to the car wash. All right. So with that being said, the challenge is really stop hoping for a change and start taking action. Hey, I'm repeating myself. Now, how did that happen? I want to know what was that? Did y'all hear that, or is that just me? I had a backup singer for a minute. So anyway, with that being said, do some facilitated introspection right now. Like right now. Number one, let's do it together. I didn't even plan this. But ask yourself, what do you want in life? What is that thing that you're even going towards? All right, that's that B, right? Coach Burt talks about that a lot. And then I want you to do this. I want you to ask yourself why. Now I'm going to facilitate this. This is the facilitation, and then I'm going to show you how I found this. Okay. Now it took me breaking down, but if we did this right, all right, if I would have done this and I would have been honest with myself and I would have took time and said, okay, what do I want? Well, I want to make enough money that my family don't have to worry about money. Why? So I can get out of debt and not owe anybody. Why? That way I can retire and do what I want when I want with who I want. Why? Because that's what my dad did. Boom. I just found what was motivating me. And then you have to ask yourself, is that the motor? You know, you might need a V8 and you operating on a diesel, but you putting regular gas in it. You see what I'm saying? So what is that that's motivating you? That's one way to the purpose. See, I had to take the whole motor out. I had to hit the Control Alt Delete and completely restart, because that's what I did for the first time in my life. I saw my own lane, and there wasn't anybody that I was in a race with. That I saw the blank canvas reappear. I felt like a child in a way. I'm not in a race against anybody, but it's my responsibility to be my best self and do everything that I can to constantly be my best self. Or like we say on here, 1% better every single day. You know, maybe if you found, like I found that deal of because my dad did it, and I had to take inventory on, you know, that was wrong, right? But maybe if you do that same exercise, it could be 7, 8 layers deep. And then you might find what that thing is that you truly, truly, truly want. For me, again, it was purpose. I knew that God had a purpose on my life. It's not a destination. I didn't know what it was. I'm just stepping. It's daily steps in that direction. Whatever you want me to be, however you want me to be today, that's what I want to be. That's me living in purpose. And I'm loving it. Is it easy? No. I said the other day, it's filled with potholes. But maybe you have the right engine in there, but you just hadn't cranked it up. And John, as I'm starting to tell this story, I told this story a while back, and you wanted me to tell somebody else, and I couldn't think of what story you were talking about. But we talked. I saw somebody doing that exercise, that facilitated introspection, and they were, well, I want to make six figures, right? Well, why you want to do that? And they continued to ask the why, the why, the why, the why, and it just wasn't good enough. What you're doing is you're wanting to find out what a person, you, me, would literally die for, fight for. That thing that gets you in the corner, you better back up because I'm coming out swinging. And what we found was um, there was a single mom who went to a school and she did not have a good experience at that elementary school. Okay. I'm telling you about the example and the illustration of this facilitated introspection. Like finding her motor, finding what she would die for, what motivates her. It was masked with money and all of that. But she had a daughter. And when they got to the very heart of it, her daughter was going to that same school and had started experiencing those same deals. And that was a horrific time in that mama's life. And she never wanted her daughter to go through that again. So ultimately, what she wanted was to move away from that area to be in a different side of town so her daughter can go to a different school. So once that was identified, now you can put a picture of your daughter. You know what I mean? She could put a picture of her daughter right there in her car or whatever to remind her that this is why I do what I do. And if it takes me, making 30 calls a day, you got to connect this to the action that you got to take. And when you stop at 15, you can look at daughter and say, well, maybe it's not that important anymore. Or if you have a coach in your life, well, I thought you said 30 calls is what you're supposed to be doing. I thought you said you wanted your daughter out of that school. And I'm being sarcastic, but this is how it was illustrated. I don't, did that change? I mean, that's what you said. You said that that's what you wanted. Has that changed? Because we hadn't talked in a while. I don't know if that's what you want to do or not. But take that thing that you're going to fight for and let that be the fuel that pushes you through to make things happen and to take action. And I promise you this, mopping up the floor every other day is not going to get you closer to your destination. It's going to get you closer to destruction. So, with that being said, what are you going to do? You going to keep mopping the floor up? Or are you going to move, take action? That's all I got, guys. That's all I got. All right. Put that down. Anybody got anything for me? Anybody get out anything out of that? Anybody get anything out of that?
I love that it was God himself that said you're trying to live in your father's shadow. That was his purpose. I got something better for you. Not
That's
not
right.
because not because it's better in any financial way or worldly way, but because it's your very own. So awesome. Thank you so much. And we went to South Carolina. I like the way they all talk like you and they hold the door. Yes, ma'am. And
Yes,
um
ma'am.
and in church, this person totally random from Australia, she said, "You're created on purpose for a purpose." I was like, "Oh, that's right." We got
Oh,
that. We've been
wow.
studying that for 2 years now. So thank you for that. It is a message. You know that the Holy Spirit confirms it when it comes from more than one person. So Thank
Wow.
you, Chad. Thank you, Chad. Free. You're not free,
Thank
but
you.
you're reasonable.
That's right. You remember. That's right. I'm not free, but I'm reasonable. That's right. Think about that, guys. Just we said the affirmations. You're created on purpose for a purpose, and I'm created on purpose for a purpose. You literally are one of one. Your past had to happen to be who you are right now. What you've done has equipped you. Equipping you is not just experience and skills. It's experiences, the good, the bad, the ugly. You are exactly where you're one of one. And you have that responsibility to figure out, what is it? You don't have to wake up and have it all figured out, but you at least need to seek it out. And I'm telling you, you will start walking different. You will start feeling different. You will start smiling different. You will not be faking it till you make it. You will not be just trying to fit in when you're called to stand out. You'll be living not by default, but by design. It'll put a pep in your step, man. You'll get smacked along the way, but you'll give them a high five and you'll just keep on going, because guess what? You got purpose. Mm-hmm. Man, that sounded like a preacher there at the end, didn't it? All right, guys. Thank y'all. Thank you. Brock, you got anything for me, buddy, as we wrap up? Anybody else got anything?
No, as you've heard the saying, things don't happen to me, they happen for me. And what you shared today was that, I mean, that's really when I shared it yesterday, like, if you understand that whatever you're going through, whatever's taking place, there's a reason for it. There's a process. And that was the whole meaning of yesterday, was just the process of whatever it is. And you have to trust it. You have to have faith. You have to have that hopium that you talk about. If you don't have that, you go down this victimhood mode of whatever that might look for you. And so your message today just really resonated. Of also, I took away massive action. I could talk a big game, but if you don't take the action behind it, you're just another statistic, which we don't even know how truthful they are. But we do know that if you don't take massive action, you're just going to end up in a hamster wheel and just wishing and talking and praying and thinking and victimizing yourself of why I haven't taken that next step. And so use experiences of others, if you haven't been there, to help you get along with your journey. And I loved your message today. Just kind of like, I was just writing down some of the things that I've been talking a lot about. I'm like, I gotta freaking take action on this thing. Like, I gotta do this. So it inspired me. I wrote down 2 things I gotta do today. So thank you.
Just don't go mop the floor, okay?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you all. Appreciate you. Be here tomorrow morning. Who we got, Brock?
Mr. Todd Harris, Coach Todd Harris.
Coach Todd.
Coach Tid will be here.
All right. All right,
He's never
guys.
going to live that down. One
What's
little
that?
mistake, and he's never going to live that down.
That's right. That's right.
We grasp it. We don't let it go. We do not
That's
let
like
it
4
go.
years ago.
Hey, well, listen, I got to tell you this. On that note, when I was a freshman in high school, I was running for president of the 9th grade. And at the very end, I said, when you vote, make sure you vote for me, Chad. And my voice cracked. So still to this day, I've got about 3 people. What's up, Chad? That's the way they say. They ain't seen me in forever. Chad, what's up? I'm like, man, get out of here. All right, guys. Y'all take care. See you later.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.